Hey, it's Mr. Goskowitz. Going over the homework here for lesson 2 for algebra. Yeah, so let's take a look. Okay. As we look at the homework, I assigned the second problem here, which was it gave you a set of data, and then you had to make a box and whisker plot. Which, by the way, this is what the answer of what the box and whisker plot looks like. So as you look at this, the lowest number is 4, the highest number is 9. How the heck do they get the rest of these? I mean, I could see the 4 and see the 9 from the data, but how do you get the rest of these? Well, hopefully, what we talked in class is that this middle number is the median of all of these numbers. So just the middle number. So you're literally taking this one off and that one off, this one off, working your way and finding out which one's in the middle. Well, it ends up being a 7, but it actually ends up being one of these 7s. And so if we actually take a look here, I put my data in order, and I ran out of room over here. But I noticed that there were 19 of them all together. And so if we're looking at that 19, and then we're looking that there's going to be 8 of them on one side, 8 of them on the other side. So I kind of counted over, or no, 9. There'd be 9 on one side, 9 on the other. That would get you to 18. And that 19th one is the one in the middle. That's 7. So here's the thing, is that having this done on paper is important, because then you know where's the bottom half and the top half of the data, because you have to find the median for each of these other halves. So this 7 that I'm circling, that 7 is the median. So that's the center line in the box plot. We'll come back to that. Then we're looking at this and we're going, okay, well, what's the median of these? Well, actually, you already know that there's 9 of these, but you can count them off, or you can cross them off. 1 here, 1 there, 1 here, 1 there. And you'll get to the point where you have 4 of them on one side and four numbers on the other side. So right there, 4 numbers and 4 numbers. So this 6 is the other median. It's the other middle number, but it's the middle of the lower half. Now we want the middle of the upper half of the data. So we're looking at these, again, ignoring this 7 that's here, because we've already used that. Ignoring that 7, looking at this upper half here. So again, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. Working our way to the middle, I know that there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers on one side and 4 numbers on the other side. The lower, so this is that upper half, but this is like the lower half of the upper half, the upper half of the upper half. This is the middle of the upper half, the median of the upper half. So we have our Q1, if we were to label these, this would be our Q1, Q2. I know this is horrible penmanship, but it's fine. This is like what work looks like on paper. So we have our Q1, Q2, and Q3. Those are the 3 lines that make up our box plot. It's almost like our box plot is going to look like this. That's the box, and it's going to have like these little whiskers that go out to the highest numbers, the 9 and the 4. And then all you have to do is put that on a number line. So if we go back to this, you'd be dropping a line at the 4, at the 9, and then at the 7, which is the median of the whole set of data. The median of this lower half of the data was a 6, and the middle of the upper half of the data was an 8, was one of these 8s. Yeah, so that's going over that one. I then also assigned a little further down, I skipped some problems, and it said each set of data, it says select all of the data that represents numerical data. Right there's that vocab word. So you're looking at numbers. So it's not going to be anything that's in words. So it would be, A, C, D, and E. That's it, A, C, D, and E. Those are all the ones with numbers, numerical data. That's it. That should have been a pretty easy one. And the last one says, what is a typical distance a moped, not a moped, a moped can be driven in a single gas tank? Is it a statistical question? So you have to ask yourself, are we expecting, with that word statistical, are we expecting to get a variety of answers a variety of data in order to get what is the typical distance a moped can drive? If you think about it, it's like on a single tank of gas, there's going to be lots of different mopeds and lots of different possible distances that they can drive, before they run out of gas. So it is going to be a statistical question, because even though our answer is 1, what is the typical amount, maybe an average amount that we're looking for, we're going to be looking at a lot of different data for that. A lot of different responses for that. So you then had, I'm just going to look at my screen here, you then had another 2 questions which were from, there we go, we're looking at both, yeah, which were from another set of problems. You wouldn't necessarily know that, as we've got this box plot. Can you identify all of these things? What's the smallest value in the data set? The smallest value is going to be this lowest number, 8. What's the largest value in the data set? Well, that would be 44. So when it says interpret the value in this situation, that means you say, well, what does 8 mean? Speed of cars, miles per hour. And so we have to go back to this. The box plot represents the distribution of speeds in miles per hour of 100 cars as they pass through a busy intersection. So you got this busy intersection, cars are like, so what does the 8 mean? It means that some cars went through it just 8 miles per hour, going through that light, that green light, while other cars saw that green light turn to yellow and were anticipating it was going to be red, and they gunned it and they were going through it 44 miles per hour. That's what the interpret that value in the situation means, is that you actually say what it means in terms of a story. So yeah, what is the median and interpret its value? Well, the median is the middle one. It's this middle tick mark, and it's 20. So it means that, well, the middle number, so half of the cars went 20 miles per hour or lower, and half of the cars went 20 miles per hour or above through the intersection. That's how you interpret the median. I know it's like a little different to like interpret that, because you're not necessarily, you're using that as the middle mark to describe the lower end and the upper end. So so if we go back, there's another way that we could describe it, and that would be to say that with that median, you could say half of the people, again, this represents the lower half, went between 8 and 20 miles per hour, and the other half went between 20 and 48 miles per hour. So it's a lot more range in that upper half. What is the first quartile? So Q1, oh boy, Q1 is like this little tick mark right here. And what does that mean? It means that 25% of the people, 25% of the cars, or in this case, since it is 100 cars, it's literally 25 cars went between 8 and 12 miles per hour. So they were very cautious, while 75% of them went above that. Q3 is this tick mark here, and what does that mean? That means that 25% of the people went kind of pretty fast through the intersection, between 24 miles per hour and 44 miles per hour. So there's a little more range there. So again, each of the Q1 is the boundary for this first little bit here, the first quarter of the graph, and then the second quarter, the third quarter. You have these Q1, Q2, Q3 tick marks. That's what those represent, and they break it up into 25% each, 25% of the cars each. So, okay, the last one I asked you to do was number 3. So scrolling through, it just said, here's a dot plot. Can you find what is the mean? So that means finding the average. So you would add up 5 plus 5.5 plus 5.5 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6.5 plus 6.5 plus 7. You'd add all that up on a calculator, and then you divide by the total number of dots that you had, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you'd add it up, divide by 10, and you get 6 inches is the average. So I hope overall that helps you understand a bit of like what it looks like when we go over homework. I want you to see that there was a mix of difficulty in there. There were some easy problems. I know this is going over 5 minutes at this point, but there were some easy, straightforward problems. Can you take the information and kind of pull it out? Then there were some kind of harder ones. The reason I make this video is because if you're like confused about some of the answers, at least you've got me kind of going over what the right answers are, kind of maybe how important they are. The ones where you kind of have to find those. This is a pretty straightforward thing, but it's also can be a little difficult finding and creating a box plot. That's probably one of the biggest things from this lesson. being able to read a box plot is a next step up. So it's like, I would understand if you had trouble reading a box plot, but I would hope that you would be able to construct a box plot, being able to find the middle and the middle and the middle, those medians of the upper and lower half and the median of the whole set of data. All right, that's it. Bye.